Well, it's official, Donald Trump is president of the United States. Again. More on that in another video. Right now, let's focus on the Calgary real estate market. And here's your market update for end of October, beginning of November 2024. What can you expect when it comes to how much your home is worth? How long can you realistically expect to list and sell your property? And a few other things before we head into the new year and just after. Let's get started. One of the first things people want to get to is, what are home prices doing right now? And the answer is, if you look at the benchmark price in Calgary right now, it's currently sitting around $592,500. And that's up 4.5% still over this time last year. It's also currently taking approximately 32 days, so just over a month on average, to list and sell your home. Some are certainly going quicker depending on the price point, especially at the lower price points. However, lately over 600,000, we're starting to see some of those numbers improve, track a little bit better and faster. So that isn't always your best indicator. But if I had to lean on something saying, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, we're going to list with John Agent, that would probably take about 32 days or less to sell your home in Calgary right now. And for those of you that don't know, excuse me as I step up from the fireside chat, I'm Jeff Tincher. I'm an agent here in Calgary, Alberta, a real estate agent that is, and I have a network across this great nation and the rest of North America for that matter. And if you'd like to get into anything more personal on the real estate side or a little bit more in-depth, there's a Calendly link below. Simply click on it. We can book a call and talk about all things real estate. And listen, I'd love you to subscribe to the channel. Helps my metrics, and it also helps us get into the conversation and a bit more debate and get to know each other a little bit better too. So let me give you my take on what's happening. Combined with that 32 days on market on average, a benchmark price when you cross the whole entire inventory and the whole style of housing at about $593,000. What's really interesting to me is over $600,000 in price point, we're seeing more of a balanced market. Under that number, we're still seeing a seller's market. So you have this kind of juxtaposition in between of two sort of different things happening. Yes, there's more inventory that has come to market. It's taking a bit longer to sell than it had been in previous months or even the last year in Calgary over that 600,000 mark. Over $1 million, we're starting to see some more inventory come in, some price reductions, absolutely. And funnily enough, I've had people mention it to me. They say, Jeff, it seems like, even some of my clients, it seems like in that over $1 million mark, there are opportunities, and there have been some clients that are waiting, some people that are waiting and saying, I'm just gonna see if there'll be an adjustment because I don't feel like I'm pressured into making a very quick buying decision because I have a bit more time to breathe. In that 600 to 1 million range, exactly that. We're starting to see some more sales trending, some more happening, but it's not, it's not that breakneck speed like it is under that 600,000 mark. And on the condo side of things, from an investment point of view, still viable opportunities because in British Columbia and Ontario, I've experienced it, other agents are experiencing it, where buyers that have extra money or want to diversify their portfolio are looking for investment properties in the condo and townhouse range. It's still affordable to do so here. It's still affordable in Cochrane. It's still affordable in Airdrie. It's still affordable, of course, in Okotoks. It's also still affordable in Chestermere too. There's lots going on in those locales, especially Cochrane and Okotoks. They seem to be really hot right now. Airdrie as well, because of what's there. It's growing, it's booming, and in that sense that the prices still are a little bit more affordable than they are here in Calgary proper. Now, one thing that will be interesting to watch, of course, is what are interest rates going to do? I have clients that will wait. They're saying we're going to wait till the interest rate drops a little bit more in the new year. Even on the luxury side, because I've had conversations with several clients that have said, Jeff, even on the luxury side, there are clients that might still mortgage a $1 or $2 million property because they don't want to put all their eggs in one basket. So on the one hand, they'll be watching what interest rates do so they can put money here and park it elsewhere, use it for investments. Of course, there's still going to be cash buyers, absolutely, in those price ranges, depending on what their threshold is for and risk, what the risk aversion is. On the other side of things, will we see things trade faster over the next while, over the next 4 or 5 months in that 600 to, we'll call it $1 million? Yes, I do think so, but only because I feel like inventory levels will ease a bit. Will I be right? Well, it remains to be seen, but interest rates are still going to play a part of that in people's buying decisions. We have the usual Christmas, or we'll call it the holiday slowdown as well. So that means that there's some particular buyers that will be looking through that time. There are others that will hold off on their searches, wait till the new year comes in. They'll wait till the interest rate drops enough for them to be comfortable. If it still fits in with their rate, their pre-approval, they'll crunch those numbers and they'll make a buying decision based on that. Especially, they're willing to wait because they don't feel like they're going to miss out on something right now, because there's more to choose from and the pace isn't as fast. On an investment side of things, there are still investors that are thinking, okay, well, if I do wait too long and these properties go to companies, they go to corporations, they go to personal investors, flippers, if they don't act sooner rather than later, what's going to happen when it comes to interest rates? What's going to happen when they take too long and they sort of, if prices creep up and there continues to be high activity on those and prices creep up, will they be missing out on that opportunity? Because right now, the prices have come up slightly in the condo and townhouse market, absolutely. You simply can't get what you could a year or two ago in Calgary for the same price now. It's higher. Will that trend upwards? Probably, but what we're seeing is in those markets, and in particular in that type of inventory, that type of product, yes, things are still trading fairly fast if you've got a good product, if it's priced right as usual. People aren't silly. And for example, if the strata fees or the condo fees are too high, is that factoring into your bottom line when it comes to cash flow? And with some of the new projects, can you realistically buy something that's not even built yet or close to built yet, and then by the time possession is available, is it still worth the same amount? Is the cash flow position still going to be enough for you to be able to positively keep that going forward? Will the rents support it? Because right now the rents too are holding their own. The rents are strong, so we're starting to see again those investors that are saying, hey, I can get something like this, hold on to it, even if I'm arm's length in another province. I can rent it out. I can either, I've referred to this before, keep it as a legacy property, keep it in our family lineage for decades down the road, or I can just hold it, use the cash flow from that. Hopefully it accrues in value or rises in value over time, and I can afford it right now because it's still way cheaper than it would be, say, in Toronto, the Greater Toronto area, or around Vancouver and parts of BC. When it comes to competing, yes, there are still properties that are going into multiple offers. If it's something that's super well priced, if it's attractive, if it's in a market like on the south side of Calgary, for example, typically properties are trading faster and for more value than they are in the rest of the city. Not always. There are exceptions to that. There are communities in the southeast, communities in the northeast too, where we've seen those numbers come up too. There's still competition even over that 600 mark, from that 600 to a million mark. There are flip opportunities as well. While it's not as crazy as it seemed to be with the change in rezoning lately, as we're leading into that in Calgary, there are definitely developers and builders that are picking up lots for what they feel is proper value so that they can build, 1, 2, 3, 4 doors on there. Of course, charge X amount per door in a strong area and gain a lot of profit. So we're seeing the average consumer from out of province and within Calgary competing with that. And they're also having to say, okay, well, if I really want this, even if it's a new build, something I want to build on or something pre-existing, I'm going to have to compete with the other developers and try and outfox them essentially to get into that for a price that makes sense. On the flip side, there are some people that are saying, absolutely not. I'm not going to compete with that because it doesn't make sense. If I'm paying 50, 60, 70, 100,000 above what I feel A is comfortable, B is fair, and C would make sense for the market, and lean on your agent to guide you through that process. Because in my opinion, and I've said this before, it doesn't make sense to get in over your head on something just because there's a frenzy, because you think you might lose out on something. Easy for me to say because I don't have the buyer hat on at that time, but I always say do your homework enough so that you don't feel like you've overpaid, so that if you end up taking possession and you end up being cash poor on it, or you're stressed because you're just getting by, or for whatever reason the market does change and your value goes down. I don't think it will anytime soon, but if it did, you're not left in a lost position, because that's a scary place to be for a lot of people if you're not risk averse. As usual, those are my thoughts, not yours. Let me know what you think. Get in the conversation, drop a comment. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. There's lots of chatter from outside of the province with what's going on in Calgary, lots of chatter within the province and within the city and from other locales that weigh in. It's an interesting debate. I do feel like prices will stay close to the same, maybe increase slightly over the next 6 to 12 months, because interest rates are going to factor into that. There is still lots going on in Calgary. It's still considered affordable. Is the pace going to be like it has been in the 2 years, crazy busy? I don't think so. But then again, it tends to change really rapidly, and it also can change back to balanced market fairly quickly here. But it's a great place for a lot of people to come pursue, raise a family, of course, invest in. And for move up buyers, move sideways buyers, yes, it's definitely gotten more expensive. The cost of life in general has gotten more expensive, and housing is no exception. We do have still affordable housing issues here in Calgary. That's for another video, but we do have, there's still opportunity if the fit is right for you.